Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners. Best Cord Cutting TV, Before It's Tax Preparation, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Casa Samtonieta Ingielapa, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, John Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Monzon Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Owners Reps Puerto Vallarta, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live here on Facebook, live here on YouTube, where we take a look at news from our city, our state, and our country. We combine that with what you bring to the table with your questions, your comments, your suggestions, and we put all this information to good use as a community of English-speaking locals living here in Puerto Vallarta. Today is Friday, all day long. Cue our Disco Friday song, and we put it away. I hope you have a good weekend planned for yourselves. I have a great weekend planned for myself, and I want to tell you about it, and I want to tell you about yesterday, and I want to tell you about all kinds of wonderful things. But let's start with the news. As always, if you have an important comment, please add a capital letter Q at the beginning. If you're watching live for the first time and you would like a nice friendly welcome, just add a capital letter N as in new, and we'll be happy to say welcome. And of course, Mexican independence is right around the corner. Each September, Mexico proudly commemorates our independence with the patriotic fiestas, las fiestas patrias. And in Puerto Vallarta, we can expect a 4-day celebration that goes from September 13th to the 16th. And we are so grateful that Banderas News has put together a very comprehensive list of activities that will happen, and it is in English, and you can find it in our show notes if you want to participate. It's a good thing that this year the date of the Mexican independence happens on a Monday, because the traditional charro parade is going to happen on Sunday. And that is the one that I really enjoy watching whenever it happens on a Sunday. So I'm going to try to get into town to check it out this year. And speaking of parades, every year, a massive military parade takes place in Mexico City on September 16 in the morning. And this year's parade will showcase women in service with a participation of more than 4,000 women from a contingent of approximately 16,000 members of Mexico's armed forces. The role of the women in our country's history will be highlighted in the military parade, and this will be, of course, the 215th anniversary of the beginning of the War of Independence. Now, this is going to be important to those of you that are in the business of moving money in and out of your bank accounts in Mexico on a regular basis. Starting on October 1st, the National Banking and Securities Commission will implement new rules that will limit the amount you can transfer each month. The measure is called the User Transactional Amount, or MTU. It will require banks to ask customers to define a monthly limit for bank transfers. If we don't, the bank will decide for us. The new scheme aims to reduce fraud and give users greater control. However, it means that your transactions will be subject to a fixed limit with each bank's range. The way I'm translating that is banks are trying to avoid seeing random withdrawals of money, which would indicate that you might be under a precarious situation, a fraud, or a something. So what it seems to me is that we need to tell the bank how much money we want to move in and out of the bank. Now, the article is not very specific, so what I suggest to you is go to your bank and ask. Ask about this new regulation that you heard about. And of course, if I see any new updates on this, I'll be happy to share those as well. Now, let's take a quick look at the weather forecast to see what's going on there. Did you hear about the escaped mental patient on the news yesterday? I did not. I have no idea if this is a specific reference or not. What I can tell you is that it is 29 degrees right now. Humidity is at 75%, and our weather forecast indicates that we're going to have mostly cloudy skies this morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon. Chance of rain of 68%, a high of 32, and a low of 24. And then tomorrow's Saturday, rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 87%. What a wet weekend. A high of 32 and a low of 24. And then on Sunday, mostly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 87%, a high of 32 and a low of 24. A wet weekend, it seems to be, which is fine by me because I have a lot of things to get caught up on. I am so grateful to those of you that joined me yesterday in our Mexican independence presentation. It was a lot of fun. It was almost packed, which was nice. There were a lot of people there, and everybody was excited to learn more about how we celebrate our Mexican independence, when it got started, and why. And it was awesome. It was absolutely fun. And now I want to tell you again about this business, the grand reopening, not this business, but the grand reopening of El Rey Lounge is coming up on Saturday. And of course, as I mentioned yesterday, I got together with Lawrence to find out more details about what they are looking to change now that they're reopening and they're tweaking the operation a little bit. Let's have a look at a quick spotlight interview with Lawrence of El Rey.
So here we are.
Here we are.
We are at the office. No, we're not at the office.
You haven't even had one drink.
I haven't even had one drink.
I can attest that. Well, I cannot attest to that because I haven't been with him all afternoon. But I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he's not had a single ounce of alcohol in my presence here.
I haven't had any alcohol at, what are you going to call this place now?
El Rey Bar and Grill PV.
Okay, so we have a saying in Spanish. See, I cannot even remember this. Es de sabios cambiar de opinión. It is wise to change your mind. And I mentioned that because you guys have had a second change of heart about El Rey. You first were El Rey Lounge de Versalles. And then you were El Rey Barbecue Lounge de Versalles.
We were.
And we're going to try something else now.
Well, it's a third iteration. And really what it is just trying to keep up with what our client base is telling us they like, what they don't like, what they're responding to, what they're not, right? And I think that,
I like the wine.
you like that?
No, that's delicious.
Okay, good. I talked him into a little bit of white first, so we're going to drink some red after. You know, we all like to think we're a little bit of the smartest guy in the room until you find out you're not. And that's kind of what started with El Rey Lounge de Versalles. We thought we'd be this late night loungy spot. And we found out after 6 months or 8 months that Versalles wasn't ready, wasn't willing, wasn't able,
It wasn't happening.
didn't like
Yeah.
our chili in that regard.
Okay, fair.
And then we found out they did like our chili because we went to more of a barbecue theme and that was out of necessity, really. You remember, I mean, we had some cooks, we didn't have some cooks, and then my wife, who's a trained chef, said, I'll do it. And she started introducing her fare and my barbecue and our things, and people dug that. And so we loved that. We still love that. However, not that we would ever want to say maybe everybody liked it a little too much, it just meant that she had to constantly be in the kitchen, and that was not what the plan was. Moving here, opening these venues, and so we decided to trim the menu a bit and make it more about what we love doing, which is being around people like yourself, being around our friends in Versailles, and meeting new people and doing these things, and letting Rihanna have more of an opportunity to be behind the bar and out on the floor. And the only way to do that was to really lean out the menu. And I think a lot of people are going to be upset because some of their favorites are gone.
The chili's still there. That
Chili's
makes me
still
very happy.
Chili's still there. The chicken wings are still with us. And we are still going to do the big shots. And what I mean by that are the ribs and the brisket, but not on a daily basis. We're not going to have that available every single time you come in. We're going to probably have that more available. The plan is right now on weekends. But now Rey Bar and Grill PV is open and available on weekends.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
And you've added some television screens, which is wonderful.
We've added 7 TV screens.
Talk to me about that.
So we're just leaning into what people want and what we like. We like watching football. We like watching soccer. We like watching sporting events, UFC, the boxing events this weekend with Canelo. And so, you know, we've got a few sports bars in the area, but we felt like we wanted to lean more into that area of it because that is what we like doing. That's the places we like to be. And so since we own the place, we're allowed to, I guess, lean it towards what we like. And also we want to continue to offer some of our food and some of our Oklahoma recipes and let Rihanna still have some flair in the kitchen. And she's still going to have some of her cheesecakes and her banana cakes and cookies. I'm still going to have the smoked wings, and we're still going to have the smoked pork shoulder pork. It's called pork butt if you're from Oklahoma.
Okay.
And we are ranging those across quesadillas, tacos, and nachos, and more of your bar fare, you know. So you're gonna come in, you're gonna get a quesadilla, you get chips and salsa. We've got the queso that you liked, and we've got a bean dip, and we've got just more snack foods to enjoy with your friends and family as you come in and watch events or just come hang out. But there's always something to kind of nosh on. And then a few of those fan favorites from her and from myself. And then on weekends, we'll try to, every weekend we'll do something. We call them big smoky weekends is what Bree styled it. And so we'll be here now for all of the NFL, for, you know, Monday Night Football, any Thursday night games, Friday and Saturday college games, and all day Sundays for NFL. And then we are following closely with the Chivas and all of the football Mexicano. We've got the calendars up out front, as you saw when you came in. We'll be tracking and playing all of those. Any of the other sporting events, people looking the U.S. Opens or NASCAR, the boxing, the USC, we're going to have it all. So all still within the comfort that you've come to know with El Rey, and the air conditioning and the good service.
That sounds wonderful. Now, for those that are not familiar, I love to gush about El Rey. I like it here. But for anyone who is not familiar with El Rey, now El Rey Bar PB, what would you say to people watching that sets you aside from other sports bars in town?
Well, you know, thanks for putting me on the spot. You know, you don't want to say anything that gets perceived as bad mouthing anything else. But I think what we do best is we provide a certain level of service and a certain level of comfort that maybe Vallarta hasn't experienced in some of the other venues. Maybe they have, but we pride ourselves on making sure your experience here, whether it's watching a football game or coming for dinner, you might come for the ribs when you know they're here, and that's your Saturday night out, right? And so that's your restaurant experience. You're still going to get that level of service and comfort as you would in any restaurant, bar, sports bar, or other venues. So whatever conception one might have about what a sports bar might look like in their mind, I would prefer that they think of El Rey as El Rey, right? It's always going to lead with comfort, good service, good food, right? We don't buy food frozen and throw it in fryers and deliver it to your table. We make our food, and we take pride in that. So I think that sets us apart, is just a little higher echelon of food service. I think our cocktail service is amongst the very finest in all of Vallarta. And I think our agave shelf is approaching the largest selection in Vallarta.
Nice.
And we're very proud of that. And just we're now going through 2 years at the office, our second year there, and our first year here at El Rey, and really leaning into our local crowds to hopefully continue to attract more and more local flair, because I think it's awesome for the tourists to experience these games, these restaurants, these bars with locals in them, not some place that they go where it's just people that look like they do. And I think that,
Well, that might be fine for some people.
well, it's not fine for me. What I want is I want people to come in here and know that this is for everyone, and it's at a price point where everyone can enjoy it. And in that vein, we're going to be doing monthly promotions for our agaves and beers and food, so that whether you're a local that might work as a teacher or a doctor or a taxi driver, or you're a tourist and you do any of those things back home, and you earn dollars versus pesos, it will not be something that will prohibit you from coming into El Rey Bar and Grill. You will have something that suits your budget, and you'll be welcome here.
Well, I look forward to it, Lawrence. Is there anything else?
There's always something else, but we're not going to lose any of what people have come to know about El Rey. We still have big designs on our outdoor patio spaces, having some shows and some venues, from drag shows to just musical events and dinners. So it's not just going to be pigeonhole as just a place to watch NFL football on the weekends, right? So I think that's the other thing that sets us apart, is it's an ever-changing, evolving animal here. And I think one of the nicest compliments you ever gave us was that we were constantly evolving, and we not only like that, but we think that that's responsible as owners here, is to listen to what our public is telling us and what they like and what they don't like. I mean, sometimes they don't like what you're dishing out, and you got to be willing to move on. And so we're always willing to listen. So the thing about us is we want to be a sports bar where everybody has a good time. We're going to always keep it classy. We're going to keep it higher end. We're going to keep it comfortable, air conditioned, higher end drinks, better food, and just a better experience for everyone.
When can we get started?
We're getting started Saturday night, 4
Excellent.
o'clock till midnight, or ish. We don't know how late that Canelo fight's going to go. We got the Chivas playing. We've got college football all day, Boomer Sooner, and we're excited.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on Chapter 3.
Thank you.
I look forward to it, and I appreciate the opportunity to amplify all these news. I'm ready. I'm not a big sports fan, but I'm still going to enjoy all the wonderful creations. And more importantly, I'm going to enjoy the amazing home style atmosphere that you guys create. And to me, that is essential.
Thank you.
Anybody in the Versalles area or thereabouts, or even if you're elsewhere in the city, give El Rey a chance. Thank you very much, Lawrence.
Thank you, Paco.
Yay! Interview with Lawrence. I'm excited for them. I think that Lawrence and Rihanna have created a beautiful space, and they're eager to try different things out. So I'm excited about the new version of El Rey. And now let's take a quick look at your comments. I see lots of good mornings, which I very much appreciate. Bum, bum. Many, many good mornings. Mark Jennings says, thank you for the presentation. Yesterday was awesome. It was so great to see you guys. Thank you for coming. Susan wants to know how to say better late than never in Spanish. Más vale tarde que nunca. It is more worth late than never. Más vale tarde que nunca. That's how we say it. Mark asked about when was the name Mexico started, and we had a lovely little conversation here. Let's see. Trudy sent some gratitude for the Yalapa tours. Thank you so much, Trudy. I still have to upload those to YouTube separately as independent walking tours, but that'll happen through the weekend. Let's see what else. I think we are done. Yes. So, as always, I thank you so much for your company, for your content, your ideas, your questions, your suggestions, and your support. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be here tomorrow morning, of course, with more coffee, more headlines, and more stories. So, hasta mañana. Have a great day.